All right, shalom, shalom. Giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rekakwadash. All right, double honors to my apostles and my elders at Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy to be accounted. Double honors for teaching me this truth. And peace and salutations to all you Akim out there preaching this truth throughout the four corners of the earth with truth and sincerity in your hearts and for the love of the gospel. Okay, I'm the brother Shamaria. All right, Shamaria from the GMS branch. Gary, Indiana. All right, coming at you with another lesson. The lesson today is going to be my Micah 7 and 7. All right, without further ado, let me just go ahead and get it. Micah 7 and 7. Excuse me. Micah 7 and 7. It says, "Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the power of my salvation. My power will hear me." Now, the reason I say power is because that word God in the Hebrew goes back to Allah, which in the Hebrew, all right, Allah means what? Power. Okay. So it says what? I will wait for my power. I will wait for the power of my salvation. My power will hear me. Verse 8 is the point. It says, "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me." All right. So basically, the main focal point of the lesson is the 8th verse. All right. "Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy," because our enemy clapped their hands against us. All right. These heathens, they love to see our people in a low estate. You know, it tells you that in Lamentations. Well, first you have to know who your enemy is. Okay. Now that's another lesson for another day. But until if you need to know who your enemy is, you need to know that it's everybody against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Alright? First, going to the book of Proverbs, the 83rd chapter, is a list of all of your enemies, okay? From the first verse. It says what? "For they have consulted together with one consent that they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, and Moab, all right, and the Hagarins, all right, these are all of these heathens, everybody that's not an Israelite." It's a list of other nations that's not Israelites, which is the definition of a heathen. These are your enemies, all right, and all of these people, every nation that's not a Negro, not a so-called Negro, not a so-called Latino, not a so-called Native American, they are your enemy. But putting the perspective and balance, there's going to be certain Israelites, okay, that are your enemy because why? They do not believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and those are also your enemies, and they're going to clap their hands when you are in a lower state, or when you are in a position of difficulty. Okay. The book of Psalms, the 132nd chapter. The scripture says, "Do I not hate them, O Lord, that hate thee?" I think it's 139. Psalms 139, verse 21. It says, "Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieved at those that rise up against thee?" So our own people rise up against the Lord. So those are also our enemies. All right, going back to that book of Micah. So 2/3 of our people are our enemies. All right, and the heathen nations are also our enemies. Okay, so our enemies are going to 7 and 7. It says, right. It says, "Rejoice not against me, O my enemy." Our enemies are going to rejoice against us. Okay, because we're such in a lower state. But when these prophecies they start to speak like they are now, all right, doing what? COVID-19. Plagues and pestilence upon the world. Those are the prophecies speaking. So the Lord is coming back. The Lord is showing you that He's coming back. All right, Matthew 24. All right, 2nd Esdras 9. He's showing you that he's coming back. Okay, you should see earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of wars. All right, pestilence upon the earth, pestilence and plague. So the Lord is coming back, and He's going to allow us to arise. But it says what? When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. So that light is going to be the wisdom and knowledge that guide us. All right, to prove that, Proverbs 6:23. The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. Because what makes us walk with the Lord? When we are obedient to what He says to do. All right, this is Proverbs 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and the reproofs of instruction are the way of life. All right. So basically, the law of the Lord is our commandment. The law and the commandment of the Lord is our light. Because the way it said, the commandment is a lamp and the law is light. So it tells us the Lord is going to direct us where to go if we're keeping His commandments and His laws. All right. When you go to the book of Isaiah, the 33rd chapter, okay, it tells you, Isaiah 33:6, it says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability in thy times. What wisdom and what knowledge? Knowledge of who? Wisdom of what? The knowing of the commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, what you are to do and what not to do in certain situations. Okay? And how to apply that knowledge to what you learned. All right? So when everybody is in darkness, we're going to be in light because the Lord is going to direct our steps. All right? When everybody's in a lower state, we're going to arise. We're going to just be plainly different than these other people. Okay? It says what? And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. See, the strength of salvation. All right, the strength of our salvation comes with what? Wisdom and knowledge. To do and what not to do. Basically, faith. That wisdom and knowledge brings faith and belief. Because you have to be wholly persuaded in what the Lord told you to do. It says, in the fear of the Lord is His treasure. See, that fear of the Lord is His treasure. You know? It's like it. But, I go back to that Micah. Go back to that Micah 7:7. Therefore, I look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Verse 8 again. It says, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. See? And when we arise, what's going to be the likelihood of our enemies? They're going to sit in the same lower state that we sat in. All right? They're going to sit in the same, they're going to be the same way as we were. All right? And you can read that in Lamentations. Because our enemies are glad that we are in a lower state right now. But when the tables turn, you know, when the tables turn, the Lord is going to be responsible for it. This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 21. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. All right, so basically Jeremiah is saying, all my enemies know how fucked up I am. Okay? And all my enemies are happy that I'm in a lower state. You know? All my enemies are happy that I'm like this. So when the Lord turned the tables, He's going to make my enemies just like how I am right now. Because the word said, what? They shall be like unto me. What? When the day, it says, thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, with prophecy. All right? Prophecy. telling us that we should have the heathen for an inheritance. Okay, when Lord willing that the elect inherit the earth, when the elect inherit the earth. All right, in Proverbs the 2nd chapter. All right, it says, "Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint." So the Lord is going to come back. All right, He's going to turn the tables. He's going to recompense everybody according to their works. All right, and that's exactly what He's going to do. This is the let me get Isaiah 1:9. Mm. All right, Revelations 13:10. All right, this is a heavy hitter right here, and it's so simple and it's so plain. Revelations 13 verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right, because when we are in captivity right now, they still to this day clap their hands. They hiss at us, telling us that they're happy that we're in captivity. All right, but he that putteth in captivity, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So we're going to do the same thing. The Lord is going to liken to them unto us. It says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. All right? So then who was killed with the sword? The Negroes, so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. All right, the Lord's people were killed with the sword. So we're going to kill with the sword in that day, the day that the Lord has called. All right, the day of prophecy, you know? But that was it to that. I think it was another scripture on Lamentations. But hopefully I hit the nail on the head with my point. My point is that rejoice not against me or my enemy, because our enemies are going to be likened unto us. I could get plenty more precepts, you know. Uh, Isaiah 30 tells about slavery to the other nations. No, that's okay. Let me try to see if I can find it. Jeremiah 30 and 16. So okay, it's Jeremiah 30 and 16. Jeremiah 30 verse 16. It's another last scripture. It, it says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured." All right, like it says in the book of Maccabees, it says, "What nation have not had a part in our spoils?" So all of these heathen nations have had a part in our spoils. So we have all been devoured by these heathens. It says, "And all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they shall spoil thee, and shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey." All right, so everybody that preyed upon us, the Lord is going to give for a prey. So that proves that the Lord is going to He's going to liken the heathens, our enemies, liken to us. Okay. and even the 2/3 of our people to an extent, because in the kingdom of heaven, no Israelite is going to have to work ever again, but they're going to have shame on them because they're going to come back through the seed of the elect. All right, they're gonna have shame on them forever because they did not make it on the first deliverance. Okay, they didn't get beamed up on a chariot from the Americas or from the world that was previous. Okay, so even to that extent, you know, the Lord isn't going to increase them as He's going to increase the elect. You know, so even our people to an extent is going to be made like unto us right now because of the mind frame. Because they're not going to want for anything. They're going to work. They're going to have slaves. They're going to have land. They're going to have money. They're going to be very wealthy. All right, like the rich elite right now. All right, somewhat like the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and the Gettys, the Rothschilds. But we're going to be the upper echelon. I mean, when I say we, I mean the elect. You know. But hopefully I hit the nail on the head with this lesson. Until next time, I'm going to say Shalom.